In this video, we will review the forms and translations of the present infinitives in Latin. As we embark upon new uses of the infinitive, it will be helpful to keep in mind how the present active and present passive infinitives in Latin are formed and translated. We'll start with the present active infinitive. We will demonstrate these with 4 example verbs, one from each of the 4 conjugations. From the first conjugation, amo amare, to love. From the second conjugation, video videre, to see. From the third conjugation, pono ponere, to place. And from the fourth conjugation, audio audire, to hear. Now, I should point out here that I have not given a separate example for the third conjugation io verbs, for example, facio or copio. This is because third conjugation io verbs will form their infinitives in exactly the same way as the rest of the third conjugation. To find the present active infinitive, you only need to look to the second principal part of the verb. So from amo amaro, we have amare. From video videre, we have videre. From pono ponere, we have ponere. And from audio audire, we have audire. Let's also point out that the difference between the second conjugation and the third conjugation infinitives is the length of the E. So, for second conjugation, watch out for the long ERE on the infinitive. And for the third conjugation, watch out for the short ERE on the infinitive. We translate these with the formula to blank. And so we have the translations to love, to see, to place, and to hear. Now, the present passive infinitive. For the first, second, and fourth conjugations, we will form the present passive infinitive by removing the RE from the present active infinitive and replacing it with an RI. So, from amare, we create amari. From videre, we create videri. And from audire, we create audiri. The third conjugation will be slightly different from these. For the third conjugation, we take the present active infinitive, drop off the entire short ERE, and replace it with a long I. I like to say that the short ERE is a weak ERE and drops entirely off. And so we have from pono ponere, pony. These present passive infinitives are translated with the stock translation to be blanked. And so we have the translations to be loved, to be seen, to be placed, and to be heard. And again, I have not differentiated between third conjugation and third conjugation IO verbs because both families within the third conjugation form their present passive infinitive in the same way. Drop the entire short ERE and replace it with an I. Now we'll do 4 quick examples of how to use the infinitive in Latin, at least as we've seen them so far. So here's our first example. Opto pecuniam videre. Our main verb is opto, and our infinitive is videre. This is a present active infinitive, and I marked that with a squiggle underline to differentiate it from the main verb. Now, pecuniam is an accusative singular direct object, so I'll mark that as direct object. And we translate this as, I want to see the money. We call this a complementary use of the infinitive. The idea of seeing completes the idea of the want. Basically to say, I want, makes no sense, and it asks for an infinitive to go along with it. This is complementary. Now here's another complementary infinitive example. Opto amari ab omnibus. Our main verb is opto, our infinitive is amari, and that is a present passive infinitive. And with the passive verb, we have this ab phrase, prepositional phrase, which is an ablative of agent. And we translate this as, I want to be loved by everyone. Amari, our present passive infinitive, is translated as to be loved. And the idea to be loved completes the meaning of I want. Here's our next example. Errare humanum est. Our infinitive is errare, and this is a present active infinitive. Our main verb is est. And humanum is a predicate. This is a form of the adjective that renames the subject using the verb to be. And in this case, errare is the subject of the sentence. So we translate this as, to err, or to make a mistake, is human. Now notice how humanum is the neuter form of the adjective, because Latin treats infinitives as neuter ideas. And we call this use of the infinitive the subjective use of the infinitive, because the infinitive is serving as the subject of the sentence. And here's one final example. Necesse est mihi carmen audire. Our main verb is est. Audire is the infinitive, present active infinitive. Carmen as a neuter accusative singular direct object of the verb audire. And mihi is the dative case of the first person pronoun, ego, mei, mihi, me. So we translate this as, it is necessary for me, that's dative case, for me to listen to the song. So this is another subjective use of the infinitive. You might view necesse as the subject of the sentence, necessary, to hear as the predicate.